Hi, my name is Chatek, and this is my Week 6 case analysis on Group M India, the human dimension of digital transformation. First, I'm going to start out with the company overview of Group M India. It was established in 2001 and headquartered in India. It is one of the arms of the media investment firm WPP. In 2012, Group M contributed $5.6 billion of global billing to WPP, and WPP annually has $90 billion of billing. Group M is located in 80 countries, and most recently, in 2020, it is estimated to have advertising growth of 10.7%. So from this week's reading, we talked about digital maturity, and these were the 5 questions that were in our readings that help you achieve digital maturity. 1. Implementing initiatives to develop workforce, innovation, and create digitally minded cultures. 2. Playing the long game. 3. Turning small digital experiments into company-wide initiatives. 4. Becoming a talent magnet. And 5. Gaining leaders with a vision of digital strategy and exercising resources to achieve the digital vision. So next slide I'm going to do is the external factors that I believe that are focusing on Group M, that I believe it is a developing portion in the digital maturity scale. Digital advertising is changing in the modern time, and more mobile advertising is being released. And we see that with Facebook and Instagram. We see a lot of mobile advertisements on there. India bypassed from personal computers and went straight to mobile. In the most recent statistics for 2019 I saw was 820 million individuals in India have a mobile device or use a mobile device. The competition in India is acquiring boutique agencies to gain market share. There's heavy competition from Google and Facebook that dominate digital marketing in India. There are 82 million active Facebook users in India. On top of that, there are 120 million internet users in India, and they're projected to triple in the following years. One thing is the rupee strength has fallen greatly. In previous times, it was 40 rupees was equal to 1 USD. Now it's about like 65 to 70 rupees equal 1 USD. And that contributed to a lot of media companies cutting expenditures, and Group M was one of them. Group M is also staying with traditional buying and media planning that has a steady growth rather than evolving into the digital world. As Srinavis said, we need to transition from the old world practice to the new world effectively. And these are the internal profiles that were in the case that contribute to why I believe they are in the developing stage of maturity. There's product gap, people gap, profile gap, partnership gap. So I'm going to first start with product gap. Group M focus on traditional media, so newspaper, print, advertisement, like billboards. And some of their clients, as you read in the case, 70 to 80% of them are talking more about digital media. And like I previously said, more companies are moving online and mobile. That's one thing, media consumption moving online and mobile. Next, people gap. Group M is having trouble retaining and motivating, nurturing talent at middle and lower levels. Young employees that have 3 years or experience or less are leaving to other companies or other boutique companies where they believe that they can move around in the company or move up with their experience. And while interviewing potential workers, Group M has seen an attitude of the interviewees was evolving and more assertive. Profile gap. So some of the clients that Group M have are a traditional company like automotive, luxury, and so on. That is one thing that Group M needs to diversify its portfolio into consumer internet and technology clients. As I previously stated, as the external factor is the economy is slowing down, and that was due to like the rupee losing strength. The partnership gap. They're not fully ready to partner with clients on mobile yet. That is why Srinavis has talked about evolving into the digital world. And they're having tough time integrating parts of business. For example, their PR parts are easy to transition, but they're having trouble with other business aspects. So these are initiatives that I believe for the internal profiles that Group M needs to implement to get into the maturing stage of digital maturity. First, I'm going to start out with the product gap. They need to move away from the traditional media print, and that includes the traditional companies that they have. They need to focus more on mobile app marketing with those traditional companies and gain other tech clients to implement into the digital media. And one thing they need to do is invest money into digital integration with like Skype for Business and so on. So every group is communicating on the same basis. That's one thing that they could do to create more digital integration. For people gap, they need to promote within. That is one thing that you can see in current roles and in any role, like you would like to move up in the company. That provides you with like a sense of security and enlightenment that the company believes that, hey, you're doing a good job, so we want to promote you. On top of that, they need to provide tuition reimbursement for digital marketing classes and coding. As you can see, we are all getting our MBA in a certain preference. So that's one thing that Group M needs to do. That could also lower retention of employee turnover. And that goes to my next point, value the lower level employee more to reduce turnover. For profile gap, they need to diversify the portfolio to smaller technology companies. India being a big hub with a lot of companies moving offshore and having little boutiques in IT, that's something that they could look into to bring on as a client for digital media. And like previously stated, it's one thing for the profile, convert traditional media for current clients to digital media. For partnership gap, they need to seek out boutique firms to partner with. As stated in the case, they were in competition with five big firms, but then realized there were 7 or 8 little firms that were competing for that same client. So that's one thing that Group M should do is buy out these little boutique firms or partner with them so that lowers competition and can gain market share. And if they can't do that, they can also invest in these smaller boutique firms as an incubator. So that's one thing that's very new, and you see that in Silicon Valley, like those companies out there, they buy out or invest in these little companies and incubate them. So once they mature, that's something that they can sell off or integrate that technology into that company that they have. So that's one thing that Group M should look into also. And here are my resources.